Hey guys, welcome to Nightstar Mustangs. My name is Jessica Murray, and today we're going to start the first session with this handsome gelding back here. He's from the South Scenes herd. He is 15-1, about 5 years old. In the wild, he was known as Lobo, and I'm very excited to work with him. He's a very excitable Mustang, so we're going to just simply start with just getting him to face up and be calm with me in the pen. As you can see, he's a little nervous, so I hope you guys enjoy the video, and don't forget to subscribe and like and follow these Mustangs' journey. I'm very excited to get started, so here we go. So, like I said, this guy, he's from the South Scenes herd. He was gathered 9/11 of 2022. He is definitely more of an excitable gelding, which I knew going in, so my main focus was to have him relax with me inside the pen. That relaxing included chewing, I was looking for. I was also looking for him to lower his head and at some point have his hip cocked to show that he was relaxing and he was okay with what was going on. My first steps to do this was I simply just wanted him to look at me and face up. To start with, I just wanted him to look at me with both eyes. Right now, as you can see, he's got other things he's paying attention to. The horses he came home with are on the other side of that pen. I'm looking for both eyes on me. He sort of gave it there, but then he decided to go back away. Here we go. Now he's got both eyes on me. So I back off. I was like, okay, there you go. All I wanted was you to stare at me with both eyes. And he did. He did a good job. I'll continue this process. I'm going to go back and forth, just trying to get him to at least look at me with both eyes. That way his mind is on me. So I'm going in again. Nice and easy. And there we go, both eyes are on me, but he's moving. I want him to stand still with both eyes on me. As you can see right now, it does not have both eyes, and he's anxious and nervous and trotting around. There we go, I got both eyes, but then he went away. So I'm just gonna follow him. I'm gonna go back, see if I could draw his attention. There we go, that was very nice. I could have released it there, but I didn't, and I'm still learning as I go, so I'm not perfect. I could have released him, and I realized that's why I gave him an easy release on that second bit. You'll see me go up, and as soon as he stares at me with both eyes, I'll cock my hip, and I'll just wait. Mustangs are amazing at reading body language. That's the only language you two have in common at that point in time. They don't understand your voice, and they don't understand the meaning of it. You have no direct physical contact with them, so the only thing that you have is your body language and their body language. That was beautiful. He actually took steps towards me, and that made me so happy, so I backed off immediately. And look, he's relaxed, he's calm, he's like, okay, that wasn't so bad. There's the chewing I was looking for. And he's doing great. I was like, all right, good job, boy. I gave him a big release. For him, he needs a big release. For some horses, simply a few steps back works great. But for him, because he's more excitable, he needs that big, full-on, back away to the fence release, which I was giving him. So right now, I'm stepping forward until there we go. He looks at me with both eyes. I cocked my hip. And he stayed, so I backed off. He was doing really well there. With most of my Mustangs that I will start, I'll try to move their feet. I'll try to move them around the round pin by showing them my energy when I want them to move, and then going to just facing up when I don't want them to move. But with weather-wise circumstances, I didn't want him to slip around. I knew if I tried to move him around and lunge him, it would get too much energy, too much excitement going, and he might get way too nervous and potentially will slip and hurt himself, and I did not want that to happen. So I simply decided to just start with the facing up. And surprisingly, he caught on to it super well. I was very proud of him. And since the footing is difficult, I slipped quite a bit as I went through this as well, so he got to see me kind of flail. There we go. That was beautiful. He faced up with both of his eyes on me, and so I backed off. And this is simply where we started. We kept at this for a good 40 minutes before he really started catching on to it. He's a very reactive horse. His head held high to make himself bigger, to see more. That releases adrenaline into his body. So all he's doing right now is reacting. The thinking part isn't really happening. I knew that sessions with him were going to be a little bit longer because I needed him to get past the reactive point. Look at that. He took a step towards me and faced up. That was beautiful. But I needed him to get past being just reactive. I needed him to start thinking about what was going on. And right there, look, his head is lowered. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. Still not happy with me, but comfortable. So we continue to do this a lot. Here's a little speed up of everything as we go. Just back and forth, having him look at me with both eyes. That's the main goal here. And again, I wasn't going to push him. I wasn't going to make him sweaty and tired and exhausted, because that's not how I like to start my Mustangs. I like to start a connection with them reading my body language, being comfortable with me, and also being safe. Since it's wintertime, I didn't want him to get all sweaty and then have shivers later. He did get a little sweaty, but that was from adrenaline, and before we were done with our session, he was already dried up and calm. It was very nice to see. So now he was figuring out the face up. Now, what I wanted was for him to step towards me, just like he did there. He took a step forward, which was very nice. And look, he even took a step forward there, slightly, and his head wasn't on me, but that's okay. I wasn't pushing him. He's coming off of the round pin also, which is very nice. Instead of just staying to it and using it as a defense to stay away from me, he's coming off of the panels. So here I've got his attention. He stepped away, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to try to drive him. Just a bit. There we go. Got his attention again, so I'm happy. I back off. We do this over and over and over again as I slowly start to try to develop the follow in and lead towards me. You could call it a pull. A pull in towards me is what we were doing here. Here, I've got his attention. He goes away, so I start walking in towards him, which puts pressure. There we go. He looked at me. I cocked my hip. He chewed. Now I'm trying to really get him to follow me more. We're moving up a step already. Oh, he walked off, so now I'm coming back up to him to try to get his attention. Slowly, but my energy has changed. I'm saying, no, you can look at me. There we go. On his left side, he is definitely a lot more sticky than on his right side. On his right side, he was getting going very well. There he's looking at me. He decided to go back towards the other mares on the other side. That's fine. So back and forth we went, back and forth we went. And this is how we started working on the pull towards me, the follow up. There we go. Attention back. Because pressure's on, I'm in towards the middle of the round pin. I'm closer. But he's learning that that's where the pressure's at, and so he'll look at me so I can back off. Again, I got his attention. Now all I want is for him to just take a step towards me as I go around. I'm driving his hip around. And there we go. See, that was beautiful. So I backed off. I was like, there you go. And look, he chewed. He's like, okay, I think I can understand this human. Again, getting his attention. I'm going to start driving his hip around. And he steps towards me, nice and calm and chewing and happy. So I give him a big release. I walk to the other side. He's like, okay, that wasn't so bad. He really started understanding the draw very well. Look at he took steps into me, and it's not aggressive at all, which is one thing I was looking towards, to see if he would be aggressive coming in, because he is such a freshly cut gelding. He's been a stallion for 4 years. 4 to 5 years, depending on what his age truly is. They believe he's 5 years old. But if he came at me with ears pinned, I would puff up and walk towards him to show my aggression towards him. But since he's coming up to me nicely, I'm happy with that. And he's figuring out face up. Face up, pressure will come off. If he goes away, I put pressure back on. Very gently, there we go, we got a face up. And look at that, he walked right into me, which was beautiful. I was very proud of him for that. And as I walked away, he even took more step towards me. Here's another beautiful draw in. And this is now after about an hour's worth of work. He's still calm, but trying to figure things out. I had such a joy working with him, really. Now that we've got a good draw in, soon I'm going to begin to start asking for a bit more. His head is still high up. That shows that there's still adrenaline pumping. I don't necessarily want that at all at the moment. So I'm going to work on him putting his head down. Luckily, keeping your head up like that is not a very comfortable position. So eventually, with me standing here staring at him, his head will drop. And as soon as it drops, I will give him a release. So he sees there's a new target to go towards. Right there. See? I walk away. He's like, wait, what happened? Now I'm moving him. I'm going to try to move his feet, because you never want the horse to just stay still and that's the only spot you train him in. You want them to continue to move their feet here and there. So now I'll wait. He figured it out. He bobbed his head. It's a little bob. It's not much, but that's okay. I move and I wait. There we go. He bobs his head again. He's like, oh, I can figure this out. Another bob. Obviously, I'm not wanting him to just bob his head, but I have to take little steps at a time. This is just a first step. That little bob is a tiny indicator as to what I want. And he bobs again. He's like, okay, I know how to get you to move now. He figured it out very quickly. He truly surprised me with how willing he was to learn. All my goals was to have him face up to me today. That's all I thought I would get done with him. But because of his willingness to learn, me being patient with him, and him being patient with me, we started getting a lot farther than I thought we would. His little nods to me, it made me smile. It was very cute. There, he went away from me, so I went back up and put the pressure on to get him back to face up, and he did very well. There, I put the pressure back, he came back to me. And he nodded. But now I'm starting to ask for a little more than just a nod. I want him to lower his head more. And as we go through this, I'm going to ask him to lower his head more and more until he keeps it below his midline, which is a very big challenge for this boy because he does keep his head so high a lot of the time, but he really was figuring things out. There, he went away from me, so I'm going to put the pressure towards him. He looks again at me, so I back up, hoping he'll follow. This is his left side. He's more sticky on this side, meaning he doesn't want to come into me on this side, which is fine. Each horse has a side. But there, he drew in. That was very nice. But I want that head down at the same time. Good boy. This is after about 30 more minutes of doing this with him. He's really figuring it out. But now I have different markers. Now I want him to go down below his chest. There we go. He did it. Again, he's actually drawing into me. He's really trying to figure out, which is just fine with him bobbing his head because every time his head lowers, he's releasing endorphins that are telling him to be calm and relax. So he's literally teaching himself to be calm and relaxed as I walk up to him. Unbeknownst to him, but that's what is happening. And look at this. He comes right back to me. He's figuring it out. He's like, where do you want me to go now? I'm waiting for him to go down below his knees. He's calm. He's being easy. Even though he's bobbing his head, he's not afraid, which is just beautiful. Almost there. There we go. And he went below his knees, which is where I was looking. And he was really figuring it out. It was so beautiful to watch him think. There he had a chew. He's calm. His head isn't raised and afraid as he's waiting for me to come back. He's like, okay, I know. And look, he's walking up to me. Look at this. Though right here, he's like, whoa, I walked up a little close. He backs up a few steps, but that's okay. He did walk very close. If I had stuck my hand out, I would have been able to touch him then. But he went back calmly. He didn't freak out and run away. And he's actually going to keep his hip cocked here soon. And if you watch, his head's not going up nearly as high as he's walking around anymore. He's not nervous like he was at the very beginning of the session. He took a while before he got out of that reactive phase and went into the actual learning and trying to understand phase, which is what we are in now. This boy is already truly surprising me, and I cannot wait to see where we go with in the future. I believe next session we'll get in our first touches, which I didn't think would happen for a while. But because of his willingness to learn and reading each other's energies, I truly believe he's going to be ready for that first touch, which really excites me. Thank you guys so much for watching the first session with this Mustang. I am truly excited to continue working with him and seeing where we can get to. Next session, hopefully I'll get the first touch in. and hopefully I'll be able to reveal his name. If you would like to continue watching and subscribe to the channel to see my little mare's first session and this big boy's second session, please subscribe, like the channel, and follow us on Instagram, all that wonderful stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to smile. Might just brighten your day and somebody else's. Bye, guys.